this. You guys know I love this. I'm not going to go on about it like I always do. It's awesome to see everybody. It's a crazy world out there, but that's out there. In here, what do we all have in common? Kenpo. That's what's uniting is Kenpo, and it is a beautiful day. I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but here just outside of Philadelphia, it's 70 degrees in November. It's beautiful. 70 degrees and orange leaves. It's wonderful. So the topic today is flight to freedom. The topic today is flight to freedom. We have two awesome guests, and we can't let it go without pointing out the number of 10th degree black belts that are watching right now, either on the show or observing the show. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel like I should be standing at attention. Salute to them and salute to everybody else who's here. All right, let's get started. Let's just jump right in. Our first presenter today is the lovely and talented Gail Lawler with her beautiful assistant, Mark. Wait, I think I said that backwards. The lovely and talented Mark Lawler with his beautiful assistant, Gail.
Oh, Dan, you got it exactly right. Yeah, hey, everybody. It is a beautiful day. Nice to be with everybody again. So today we're talking about flight to freedom. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to utilize the components of the technique and the base and a little bit of the extension, and basically rearrange it a little bit. And by doing that, we're going to come up with two different Tracy's techniques. I mean, Kenpo is Kenpo, right? One known as retreating from the horizon, and the other one known as the diving hawk. Okay, sounds like Cobra Kai, hawk. Right? So we're going to start by, it's the what if to lock wing. We step back and we get thwarted with the block onto the elbow. And then we step out into the rear kick and twist into the crossing talon. So what we're going to do is rearrange where we put that kick. We're going to come right into a kick from being blocked. And then instead of the kick there, we're going to spin out and we're going to utilize the crossing talon joint break there. And then we'll do just a couple of follow-ups. And then from there, I'll show you how we're going to, in my mind, we're going to use the diving hawk sequence. Okay, so let's see. You guys can all see us here. Let me just adjust this. Okay, so Gail's applying the grab, right? So we all know we come back, the elbow gets blocked. And this is where we come out into the rear kick. What we're going to do is we're in here already. We're going to scoop kick right there, okay? And then we're going to put our twisting movement in here and bring her out. For me, that's a lot more, comfortable. From here, we've got the elbow break. We could also strike in between the shoulder and the elbow, and back up a little bit. This can turn into a throw. You can take her right to the ground. Come on up, Gail. From there, you could do a submission on the back of the arm, hand on the back of the neck, pull up on the elbow if you want to turn that into a compliance kind of a deal. The other thing we can do from there, after we scoop and we whip out, sometimes we lose the arm a little bit, okay? We can strike here and then come into the wrist. And then you just have your generic wrist throw, okay? And then from there, you pick your Kenpo sequence from the ground that you want to stick in there. Now, the other thing I was talking about with what's called a diving hawk, okay? Same scenario. By the way, we've got this available too, right? We scoop, and when we whip out, the range is a little off. I'm a little too far away to get my joint manipulation in, so I'm going to kick, and then chicken kick, and then down with the elbow shot. Knee will come to the face, and now we have the side kick to the knee in the base and the extension. We're going to rifle the side kick here to the back knee. And then diving hawk finishes with a spinning back kick. Okay? So basically we just took the components of the technique, we rearranged them, and by doing so we magically came up with what appear to be a graft scenario, when in actuality, you could say you're doing a couple of Tracy's moves there. So I'm a little over 4 minutes here. We're trying to keep it tight to 5 minutes. So I think with that, I'll go ahead and sign out and look forward to our next presenter here. And by the way, hello to Mr. Velez. Didn't get a chance to say hi to you. And Dave, good to see you here again, brother. All right, back to you, Dan.
All right, thank you very much to the Lawler family. So it is my turn. And what I'm going to do, we've been talking about trying to keep the time down on this, so here we go. Ready? Hey, Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. Siri didn't listen, and I'm not going to wait, so here we go. All right, so my take on Flight to Freedom. I want to talk about two things. Number one, Flight to Freedom is a what-if technique. Mark just referenced that. It's a what-if technique to lock wing. You go back, you do the elbow, and the guy blocks it. So what do? But what I want to do is I want to take a step back for a second and talk about what if, because we have a lot of instructors in here. In my studio, I've been teaching for a long time now. And in my studio, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, you have a brand new white belt, and you teach them a technique, and they've known, say, lone kimono for all of about 48 seconds before they go, yeah, but what if? You know, those students, they're trying to beat you right away. Hey, wait a minute, what if? And it is actually a natural question, and it's a good question. What I tell all of my students is you are not allowed to ask what if. What if is not permitted. But then what I say is understand the base technique, and once you get the base technique and enough of these base techniques, then you can figure out what if on your own. And then I go to explain, all right, we have what if techniques in the system, and Flight to Freedom is one of them. So the second thing I want to talk about is how many of you have ever been doing these hammerlock techniques where the person walks up? It's supposed to be against a grab palm up, but sometimes people grab palm down. All right, and you'll find when people grab palm down, it makes this initial grab kind of difficult. Okay, when they grab it palm down, you just can't really grip it well. Now, what you can do is you can step into it, and it'll break that grab, in which case you can re-grab and drop that elbow. Or, since they're grabbing you palm down, they're weak low, you can always just pull it out and escape. So that's a fun little exercise for you to do in class with your students. When was it? A couple weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to go into the Kenpo International Training Seminar, and Mr. Rienzo was talking about how you break out of the wrist grabs, which I ended up doing in class. This is a great wrist grab to break out of. If somebody grabs you locked wing or Flight to Freedom wrong, right, you can just pull out of it. If they grab you palm up, you can't pull out of it, which is forcing you to do the technique. Now, just to end, what I'll do is I'll show you how I do the base. I'm going to adjust my camera like this so you can see everything here. So here's how I do the base technique. You step back and grab, he blocks it. Then you're going to step up, rear kick. Now, I like to pivot all the way to a twist stance. So if I go this way, after I kick, I like to pivot all the way to a twist stance, because this will help me wrap that arm around, put him in this position, and then it sets up the line for the side kick and the front cross and break. So that's all I have to say about that. All right, our next presenter from Bradford, PA. He's not just a martial artist, he's also an author and an awesome dude. Mr. Michael Miller.
Thanks, Dan. I hope you can see me. As already mentioned, obviously it's a what-if technique. It's the hammerlock. There's different ways you can get put into that hammerlock. One thing I'm a fan of is really making it realistic on how do you get into these attacks, right? Because you'll see sometimes people will be like, okay, we're gonna do locking wing, and then I'm the dummy and I go, okay. And then the guy grabs me. Well, that's not realistic. So we want to try to get into a realistic attack mode, right? So there are different ways they can put us into this hammerlock. Obviously, when you look at locked wing, again, different ways. I'm going to turn this way. Different ways. Think about this arm here. all right? And let's just say locked wing originally. You step back and you can load your hand, and then you come back with this elbow, and then you continue with everything, right? Of course, there's other ways to do it, okay? We can load, which I see a lot of people teaching it that way, and that's the way I originally teach it when I'm teaching out phase. Or you can take it right from point of origin, which in my opinion is better. Imagine someone grabs me like this, and I just go bam, and I just hit them right from here. I don't show them this is coming. I take it right from here. So I prefer that version better, but I just want to give you different versions, what you think. Now, for this technique, like the freedom, obviously the what if. I go to elbow them in the face, and then they block it, all right? So my goal here for this technique is to take an angle so that I get farther away from their backup weapons, okay? A lot of people say backup weapon, that's fine, but they have more than one. It's not just one weapon that they have. They have the whole side of their body, okay? So I always get backup weapons. With that being said, I am then going to go all the way to the corner, like this, okay? So if I do it this way, and I go like this, I'm going to go to this corner over here, fire that back kick, and then right here, this is called a spinning front kick, okay? The way that I teach it. What you do is you spin out and immediately throw that front kick, okay? So we call that a spinning front kick. I mean, if everything in Kenpo has an opposite and reverse, if we have a spinning rear kick, some people call it a spinning back kick, we have to have a spinning front kick, and then we have to do it both sides, right? So if I have a spinning rear kick where I spin this way and fire the kick that way, we have to have a spinning front kick, right? Of course, the other spinning front kick, the other side, is in thrust into darkness, where I step off like this. I do my rear kick with my left leg, and then I do my spinning front kick with my right leg. So this would be the other side of that. Okay, now I do realize that you can do this several ways. Some people don't do a spinning front kick. Some people turn it into a forward bow, or like Mr. Mech did, he turned it into a twist stance. So some people don't do the spinning front kick, but that's why we do this little round table. We can get different versions, okay? So they put me in a lock. I do my shot here. They block me, so I go as far away from their backup weapons as I can, canceling their width, also canceling their depth. I fire my kick. I land. I do my spinning front kick as I roll here, spinning front kick, okay? And at the end, the way I do this, I'm going to check the elbow as I kick. I'm going to load as I retract my foot, and I'm going to cross over and go to the hyperextension to the elbow, and then cover out. The way I do gripping talon would be the other side. The way I do gripping talon is I go this way, right? You do your hammer, elbow, load, come down, knee, and here's the other side of what I just did. So that's the way I teach both of those, okay? One last thing I want to say about this is we know that we can do inserts, okay? That's one of the 8 considerations of combat, one of the 8 in the formulation equation, one of the 8 things we can do, okay, in the formulation equation is insert. So on that elbow, that initial elbow, and they block, I can go down and hit them in a hammer fist into the groin, or hit them with a palm strike into the groin, boom, boom, and then go out. So all I'm doing is kind of inserting a little thing in there. Again, it could be hammer, palm, whatever, okay? So I will keep it at that. We got many, many more presenters, so back to you, Mr. Mech.
I'm coming. Spinning front kick, I like that. That's pretty sweet. Spinning front kick, very cool. All right, thank you, Mr. Miller. All right, so now we're going to take it we went from Eastern PA to Western PA, all the way out west to California. Now, I'm not just going to introduce it as Angelo, because after every single one of these, we got to show a little respect. So we're going to throw it over to Angelo and AJ.
Standing here like this, I'm not going to grab him. I'm usually going to be in a really stout position, okay? And we're going to talk about the grab and when it takes place. If he were to grab me first, I'm going to have a reaction, and I'm going to probably hit or I'm going to do something to him. So do the initial move. You got to make sure that this almost comes a little bit before the elbow, so I don't have reactional time. I'm not just going to stand there and let you do that. So going good? No, he's going to hit me. But if I feel it, I'm going to do this reaction. Now from here, grab, go, pop. He's going to hit me. Okay, so he's trying to hit me. Now, if I have a reaction, I'm in a situation, one thing I can very easily do, as he does that, then I'm going to go into a chokehold. Okay, so he's going to explain to you what we kind of modified a little bit to avoid that situation.
Just from a wrestling background, jiu-jitsu background, okay? You see a rear naked choke. A good defense against that choke is simply just putting that arm over your head like this so that arm can't creep in. And what this is doing is it's creating a little safety net here. So A, I don't know what's coming. So B, when I turn, I'm blocking that choke and I can still strike with this elbow. It'd be like an outward flapping elbow.
So I'm going to block it anyway, right?
But you're protected from the choke now. Boom, and we hit. Okay, so now we're protected. He can't sneak in.
Can't sneak that arm in
Okay,
there.
and then what we do, finish the rest of our technique.
Okay, so that's one element that I wanted to really get into is elbow and really protect the possibilities of the chokehold. Okay, the next thing that I want to bring up, go ahead and go. He blocks whatever he's put out from this position. Where you kick is essential. If you kick me high in the ribs, there's a chance that you may break that hold, right? So what you want to do is get somewhere in the crease using your heel side kick here, lower to get me to actually bend forward. That's a real key element. The next part is the stance. Michael Miller brought this up. Is it a twist stance or is it a forward bow? I want to look at both of those. Yep. If he does a forward bow, I'm in a position where I can pull him, and he's got great stability here. So he's got a really good foundation to do something he needs to, and he's also got a rear leg loaded up. Okay. So that's the pros of this part. I really like that. Now from here, if he does a twist stance, you're going to get a lot more rotation and a lot more positive force going into that arm. However, if I pull him off guard, his stability is weakened at that point. From going from a twist stance is a little bit more unstable than a forward bow. If you're a big guy, if you're a little guy like me doing it on a big guy, I need stability. So for me, I'm going to go into a forward bow position. If you're big and you can use that rotation and you have that base, then you can use a twist stance. But those are the two things, the elements that I wanted to bring out, whether you twist or whether you forward bow. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is a technique ending that I kind of created for somebody my size. So what happens, as he comes in, he's going to block. Everything's the same. I'm going to shoot my kick. I'm going to do a rotation, pulling him down. But from here, what I like to do is do a devastating knee right below the rib cage or go through the rib cage. Nerve-wise, he's extended. It's a nice shot here. And when your arms are up, you always exhale. You don't inhale. Try that. Inhale and put your arms up. It doesn't really work. So anytime your arms go out, you exhale. When he exhales, I'm going to shoot that right in there. And it hurts. From here, I'm going to step forward. I'm going to do a massive arm break and a buckle at the same time, taking out that leg right there. Okay? One more time. From here, boom, step, shoot, pull that in. Devastating knee. I'm going to step forward. And as I rotate, buckle that leg. I have a wrist lock here. There's the break. Now, if you notice that twisted up position that we introduced last week, it's kind of like what we do with working on the proprioceptors of the body. One direction, then the other. One more time. Grab, boom, hit, from here, rotate, driving that into the knee, step forward, massive arm break, take that leg out as he falls, reverse it, and do a wrist break. Cool. So that's kind of our little take on little high points of flights of freedom. And we're going back to you. Here we go.
So that's what I love about this. I absolutely love about this is that I've never liked the extension to Flight to Freedom because I've never been able to make it work. And in less than 5 minutes, Angelo showed me how to make that transition work. That's what's so cool about this. All right. Now we're going to send it all the way back over to the other side of the country to my main man, my best friend, Brian Saul.
What's going on, everyone? Great to see everyone again, as always, and a special shout out to all of the seniors we have with us, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. Miss Doreen, always a pleasure to see you. Mr. Sullivan, pleasure to meet you, sir. Actually, I did meet you a couple years ago. Mr. Velez, as always, thank you. for joining us. All right, Flight to Freedom. You know, you get in these positions, there's not a lot left that I'm going to be able to share with you that hasn't already been covered, but I'm going to give you my 2 cents. So we already established, all right, what if to locked wing. Let's set that aside. All right. Dan already covered the grab, you know, this way, not this way. If they're grabbing palm down, it's pretty easy just to pull out. But I also have a helper this week, my lovely and talented wife, Jessica, who was circa 2000 for her black belt. Got her black belt from Dan too. At our original instructor school, Jess and I forget how many others were in there. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. So Jess grabs me for a hammerlock. That's it. There you go. And now we talked about this. If you can do a grab, great. If not, that's not what you need to focus on. Actually, let's turn this way. I'm going to step back. Here's the elbow, right? In this technique, if they don't block it, you have your locked wing. Here in this technique, they're going to block the elbow. Oh, there you go. So now we step up. Now this rear kick should go from ground to target, not a traditional chamber, kick, rechamber, straight up. So when I step back, do the grab, she blocks the elbow, I step up, this goes straight up. Boom. Look at that. I just kicked my wife. She'll get me back for that later. Second thing I want to point out about this is after you do this kick, here, let me do it. Boom. Here, when I turn her over, it should not be this big looping circle. We used to say big circles, big trouble. Here, all you need to do is drop your elbow down to your waist and let your hand ride, and it will turn her over. Okay? There's a lot of techniques where we get this rotational force all the way through it. You see it in techniques like when you're loaded up for the extension of lone kimono. You have this rotational energy that you want to take advantage of here as you step up, sneak this in, and here it is, boom, right into it. And you cross out here. You can do the crossing talon extension, take her down this way. You could do all sorts of things this way. See, I'm just going to twist her up. But a couple things I just wanted to point out was you don't even need to do this block here. You could just step up and boom, shoot that out there. If they're already bracing that shoulder, like Angela was saying, you may not have this. So you could just step straight up and hit that. Keep this small. I go into the twist like Dan talked about. You can go into the neutral. I've seen that. This could be a ball kick with a front kick, or if you're in the twist, the side kick makes a little bit more sense. And then you're going to cross out, and this goes down as this goes up, and you take the elbow out. You have the extension where you come in with the back knuckle, the double knee, and the kick stomp right afterwards. So I probably went 5 minutes, so I'm going to end it on that. Thank you, my wife. And good to see everybody.
That would be March of 2000. She got her black belt March of 2000.
March of 2000. There you go. March
But
of
who's
2000.
keeping track? Thank you very much to the lovely Saul family. All right, we're going to send it down to Florida to the man who, I'm telling you, if you could bottle his energy, the entire coffee industry would be out. My man, Mr. Monty Noir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. It's a great honor and a great honor to be with such audience in here. So it puts you on the edge. Greetings, Mr. Sullivan. We never met. Great respect to you, sir. Mr. Velez, of course, always great respect. Ms. Doreen, Andy, everybody. My sister from Chile, Marisol. I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank all the frontline workers, nurses, doctors, all the people that is making our hard time situation happen, protecting us. The technique calls for somebody that is grabbing you, but they're blocking you. You go back there and they're blocking you. Let's go before that. Let's say if he's grabbing you from the back of your arm, okay? The best way is punch forward. He grabs you in any kind of way from the back of your arm. If he locks you up and he's grabbing you, trying to push you or trying to just maintain you in your position, all you have to do is just punch forward. Punch to 1 o'clock. That release the hands. And the same time that throws the arm that way, it'll be easy for you to do the elbow, okay? So if he's grabbing you from the back of your arm, So all you have to do is punch, regular horizontal punch, okay? And from there, that releases automatically. At the same time, if he grabs you from an up grip, from behind, all you have to do as you step to 1 o'clock, drop your elbow. That elbow will be the fulcrum right on his upper hand, okay? And there's a lot of nerves in here on the bottom of the hand, which is the ulnar in here. Okay, so you pin, and that releases the grip, and this thumb goes right into their eye, okay? So if he's grabbing you, you push down, that releases the hand, and then there's the eye, because he is going to grab you like this. He's going to get into that kind of position to take the impact from the thumb into the eye, okay? So let's go into the technique. Make sure that don't allow him to completely lock you before you move on. Because if he is any kind of specialist, or he knows how to lock, he's going to lift you up and you're going to get on your toes. If you get on your toes, it's very hard to do the technique. So as soon as you get into this position, he block you, and most likely I've noticed that most of my colleagues did it perfect. Nobody's blocked with the hands, okay? Make sure that you don't block it with the hand. Make sure you block it with a whole forearm check, because most likely he's going to be grabbing you from your shoulder anyway, and this is the block right there. It's not a block like this, because the elbow, if the elbow hits you right in here, it's going to go through. Try with each other and be committed, and it's going to go through the hand, it's going to hit you in the face. So he blocked you. That's going to give you call to step into 1 o'clock, 1:30, and from there, you're going to do an uppercut with your leg. You're going to hit him with an uppercut with your heel right into the liver, okay? It's a liver shot, but instead of you doing an uppercut with your fist, you're going to do an uppercut with your heel right into the liver, okay? And this is something that you need practice on. You hit the bags, please. Hit the bags with your fist. Hit the bags with your legs, because you cannot hit your friends with that hard. But you can hit the bag as hard as you can, because you need to be conditioned to that impact. So as you step in, there's the kick. Boom. Okay, make sure that you get hold of his arm, because that kick is so solid. The fight is over, actually. But let's say if you didn't, you still got his hand, okay? So you step into 1 o'clock. There's your liver shot. Keep your arm close to you. Don't let go. Keep your arm close to you. And there's your frictional check. This controls his height. There's your side kick and a back fist. Okay? Side kick and a back fist. If you land forward, you can continue with the same extension. Okay? You can continue with that extension. If you land backward as you do the side kick, okay, and you step behind, and there's your extension to crossing talon, which you flip him right on his back, and then, and he drop down, okay? So you hit, and you go down on his face with the palm. All right, so we'll go from the beginning and finish, because I think I'm just about it with the time. So if you got your arm, release the arm, step back, he blocked you, forced you to go to 1 o'clock. There's your uppercut with your heel. There's your frictional check. Side kick. Land forward. There's your knee. Second knee. Side kick. And get away. If you happen to land back, there's your flip back on his back. Bam. And you finish. Thank you so much. It's a great honor. And it's a great pleasure for me to be amongst such leaders in Kenpo art. Thank you very much. Salute.
I like that back knuckle side kick, little long 2 action going in there. That was very nice, Mr. Newar. Thank you very much. All right. Before we move on to our next presenter, I want to talk to you about 2 things. Number 1, this is the Brotherhood Roundtable, and today is a perfect example of what we are about. Because if you look around at everybody who's paying attention today, everybody who's tuning in, we have multiple organizations, for lack of a better term here, and that's because the point of the Brotherhood is that we just want to get together and train. We don't want to teach you. We don't want to be your instructor. If you're looking for an instructor, we have plenty to choose from, but we're not here to be your instructor. We're just here to share. That's one of the things. We're here to share. And what a great way to look at that than to see all the different representatives we have. That will be noted with our guests that we have today. If you're interested in a little more information about the Brotherhood, you can go to brotherhoodkenpo.com. All right. Our main feature is our members only page, which if you go to our members only page, we have hours and hours of instructional content on there. We have folks that are sharing that are not Brotherhood instructors. You know, our newest member, Melania, or one of our newest members, she's been putting stuff up there and she's been getting all sorts of feedback, which is pretty cool. It's $50 a year. So if you're interested, you can go to brotherhoodkenpo.com. It's $50 a year. You get access. You also get a sweet ID card and a membership welcome letter, but you get access to that training and access to a bunch of good instructors. Also, in this time, tournaments and gatherings and all that stuff aren't really happening, but there are virtual tournaments happening, and the Kenpo International is in a virtual tournament right now. What does that mean? That means that they are accepting video submissions for their Dublin 2020 tournament. Since we can't do it live, do it online. All you need to do is record your, what do we have here? We have forms, we have team forms, self-defense, and weapons. Okay, so if you have any of those, you want to video them and put them up to compete with everybody else, you can go right there. If you want a little more information, you can go to Doreen Durienzo or John Ward, and they can give you the information. All right, moving right along. Going up to Dartmouth, Massachusetts, Mr. Dan Dunfro.
All right, thanks, Dan. And once again, honored to be here, honored to present in front of the different organizations that are present here. And I brought a couple of partners to demonstrate some things. So I'm going to start with the way I learned the technique, Flight to Freedom. And normally I focus on application issues with the techniques, but figure today with Flight to Freedom, we'll tear into it a little bit and look at some of the motion and try to compare it to some other techniques. So the way I learned Flight to Freedom, I'll bring in Mr. Brightman. So he gets me in the hammerlock, and we got the block, kick, and the roll. And like Mr. Miller was saying, I learned this as a spinning roundhouse kick, but I refer to it as a spinning ball kick, and then bam. And then if you're going to go into the extension, it'd be the back knuckle, knee, and kick. All right. So again, Flight to Freedom. So we're in the lock here. Kick. And yes, Angelo was talking about the knee. And every time I throw that knee on Mr. Brighton, we were practicing before this and now, every time I hear this groan, that is one shot that is very difficult to absorb. All right, so now, when I found out the technique was going to be Flight to Freedom, I'm like, what am I going to do with Flight to Freedom? It's pretty straightforward. I like the technique. The technique works great. I even prefer Flight to Freedom over locked wing, even if they don't block the elbow. Hit them in the face, step out, kick them in the midsection. But looking at the lower case of this technique, if we had Miss Laura do Courting the Tiger, and we reverse the footwork in Flight to Freedom, we'll have Brightman do that. So he's going to do Flight to Freedom in reverse. She's going to do Courting the Tiger in forward. So we got the move 1, 2, 3, and out. So again, check it out. We got 1, 2, 3, and out. And there it is. So one more time, just do it, and on the go. So there it is. I thought that was kind of cool. All right, looking at the footwork. Couldn't compare it to anything else, so we reversed it, and there it is. Found it in Courting the Tiger. So, that's kind of what I got for Flight to Freedom today. And from Dartmouth, Mass, we'll send it back over to you, Dan.
All right. Thank you very much. I like that dynamic with the students going in there. Kudos to Jonathan and Laura. It's great to see you guys. All right. Now we're going from north to even further north. Up to see the man that's the king of the whole country. That's right, you're looking at royalty. The king of Canada, Mr. Steve Stewart.
You may take our country and our states, but you'll never take our freedom. Thank you. How's everybody out there? Great to see you all. Fitting flight to freedom for today. I have Jacob here. Hope that wasn't too harsh. Flight to freedom. So, Miller was saying nobody's going to come up and grab you like this. Well, maybe. More fitting if you're in the facing position here. I give a turn and I go to walk away. He grabs me from this position here and I try to pull. And I come back. Then I move in the angle. I like to do a push back, getting low, so it's easier to rotate in this position. You can side kick, take the arm out. That's the way I like to do it, to present it. A couple other things you can do in this position from here. If you move in that diagonal and you push, you can rotate to here and hit on a point, insert your point just above the elbow. It's a Golgi tendon apparatus. Two-way action, just rub it, take them right to the ground, and then you have. That's when what happens is it releases the elbow. Okay? You okay?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay. I'm okay. Who was that? Another way you can do this one here too, the same thing I like to do. If I do that, I do a push drag into that kick hitting low. And like I said, Mr. Saul said, rotating lower. I drop it lower. If I can't get to that point, I can hit the point between the elbow and the shoulder. And this point here has to be hit straight down. What it does is it releases the shoulder. It causes him to drop to the ground pretty quick. Do whatever you want after that. Third thing I like to do is for a what-if situation, like Mr. Dan was saying, don't ever ask about what ifs. This guy likes to always ask about what ifs. Rotating the decision here, I get to here. He cross grabs, causes a cross extensor reflex action, which means the corpus callosum, the brain works this side works this side. When this crosses center line, the brain has no idea where this went to or that went to. So it's fitting for me to grab this. Now from this position here, since the brain has no idea where that light went to, I can tap that light, take them right to the ground. Using a little bit of two-way action. I'm okay. I'm okay. So another abbreviated version with partial extension, most of you already know the extension, is moving this way here, dropping the kick, coming to this position here. Now, again, you can side kick, clear the arm, in this position here, I like to hit a point. This at the base on the lateral border. If he's standing straight up, this point has to be hit in and up. That's the way it goes. But when the polarity changes, this point here, in and down this way, and that's what can happen. Two-way action. I'm still okay. All right, you're out of here. Okay, I'm okay. So, sorry about that. So that's my take on the Canadian version of Flight to Freedom. I hope I didn't go over my time. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stewart. Spectacular as always. And we have to give a shout out and a congratulations to Jacob. Jacob is a father for the second time recently, so salute to you, Jacob. Congratulations. We're all happy for you and your lovely wife. All right, moving right along. We're going from Canada to Spain. Canada to Spain. What an awesome martial artist this guy is, and I love the way he thinks. Something tells me, I said this last month, we're going to get a correlation to the forms. Let's see if I'm correct. Lorenzo!
Hello, everybody. And it's a pleasure to be there with our family. Thank you so much, Mr. Sullivan, Doreen, and of course, David and Mr. Velez. It's a pleasure to be there with you, okay? So we come back to the Flight of Freedom. He grabbed me, okay? I mean, one important things to remark is when I do the backer, okay, and I go to the elbow, I need to grab correctly, okay? This is one thing very important, because if you don't do this, you go up, okay? You cannot go and you cannot grab correctly. So the more important thing is contra grab. thinking that this technique normally is the last technique of the pulper. So you are prepared something for the next bell, okay? So when you grab, somebody grab you, you grab, okay? If the first technique, somebody grab me, I grab, okay? So if he grab me, I need to grab. This is a very important thing. Another important thing is when you are doing the butter, okay? Check the form. You land this in long 2, 1, 2. You are doing 1, 2. And the butter is here. It's very important when you are doing maybe locking wind or flight to freedom to do the butter. Okay? Now you do the elbow, and when you go out, you have the correct angle of entry. Okay? Yes? To hit. Okay? So I repeat the technique. When I do this, I elbow, I go down, I hit. Check with this. When I pull, if you pull so hard, he go with me, okay? So when I am doing this, I cancel the depth, I block. Now I am cock my leg to do this, okay? 1, base, pivot. Where will I land this? Very easy. When you are doing long, so too, you are doing block, push. Now you are doing reverse and forward. Here you are doing the same thing. You base and now pivot and forward. Okay? Okay? This is the base move in the fall. Okay? So I speak a little more thing with the technique. When you are the close range, you have closing twins. It's the same technique. Okay? You need to do a step and do the technique. In this technique, you are doing a step and doing the technique. That's the long range, okay? Then you have another technique to find the relationship and complete the category, okay? If you are doing a snaking talon, he push me, front kick, back kick. In this technique, you are doing back kick and front kick, okay? I'm thinking with short the circle, okay? When I am doing this, bang, bang, boom, base, pivot. Check to don't pull because he go to you, okay? Now you control, you hit, now you break. And if you don't use the next move, you can do this, okay? So then it's okay. Next one to the next presenter, okay? 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes done, okay? You are checking, eh?
Am I the only one that was hoping that the dog would get involved there? I was hoping to see like a dog throw a flying sidekick and take them both out. Thank you very much, Lorenzo. Much appreciated. Love the correlations of forms. That's spectacular. All right, moving right along. Our next presenter hails from Maryland, originally from Cambodia. I'm stalling while he unmutes his mic. There it goes.
There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sabor-chan.
Hello, everyone. Salute. Welcome to our show. It's a pleasure to be here, and so good to see some of the seniors here. Hello to Mr. Reen, Mr. Sullivan. I have not had the pleasure to meet you yet, and obviously so good to have Mr. Gilbert Velez with us as well. All right, so flight to freedom. Armbar from behind or hammerlock, okay? So I'm like Angelo, a little bit vertically challenged. So once I step back here, of course, we counter grab, okay? So flight to freedom is the first technique or the only technique where the bad guy is defended. He defends himself against your elbow, all right? So we counter grab as we step back, buckle the leg if you can, and shoot the elbow. Now, common mistake is that people already anticipating the block, so they do their elbow this way without rotating the body into it. So the way I do it is I totally turn into the elbow. If it's blocked, that's okay, because of the technique called for stepping back out, and shoot the back kick, okay? When you shoot the back kick, I like to aim for the knee or groin. I don't go high to the body because, again, because I'm shorter, the higher I kick, the less balance I have, okay? So I go here, buckle the leg, elbow as I step up. I don't step all the way here because now I'm out of range, okay? The kick would hit the guy while my leg is already straight. I want to make contact at about 75% and then follow through, okay? So when you step back up, you step almost feet together and you pop into what we call a reverse cat, and then you shoot that back kick, plant down just like in long two, and you turn. All right, so as you turn, there's your push down. All right, so the push down, once again, I think that the elbow is such a dangerous thing, right? It could be a weapon, and it could also make a good target. So I think the way Mr. Parker wrote this stuff is to give you the position of recognition. If you have his arm stretch, go after the elbow. When you control the elbow, you can control the body pretty much, such as when we learn lone kimono. We come from underneath, okay? This time we go over top, just like in crossing talon. We use our forearm. In Flight to Freedom, we use the palm of your hand. And somewhere in between, you can also use your forearm to place it onto to the guy's elbow. Wings of Silk is another one that's going underneath. You have gripping talon, over top on the other side. So there's a lot of techniques that we do in Kenpo involving controlling or destroying the bad guy's elbows and knee. Okay, so this is one of those. All right, so we go back, we hit, we step back up, we kick, boom. Okay, once again, I like to have a good base right here. So I am in a forward bow, just in case we have a tug of war situation right here. In a twist for me, because I'm a smaller guy, I will go off balance pretty easy. So I go into a forward bow. Now, the next thing here also from this position gives me a good load up for my side kick. I do shoot a side kick to the inside of his knee. And the reason being is that if you do a front kick, you have vertical line and vertical line meeting. Okay, so what happened is because of your foot and his leg. So you could slip off. So a side kick, now you have a horizontal line meeting a vertical line. So that's, for me, works better. Okay, and as I plant down, once again, I'm going to yank this up, which is his wrist, and breaking the elbow if I didn't already break it before. Okay, so nice and solid right here. And then as far as at the ending, I just front cross over right here, and I keep dragging him until he is face down on the ground. So if he's crawling, so as you do this, if he's crawling, as you're trying to take him down, you just keep taking another step until he lays flat onto his stomach, and you're still holding onto his wrist and pressing on that elbow. And if you're in law enforcement or whatever, you can just throw that arm in the back and cuff him after that. Other thing is that I like to face the guy when I'm fighting. So, when you step here, you're giving your back to the guy. So I want to slightly duck a little bit just in case he punches, misses my head, and hopefully that kick to the knee would stop the punch or any attack coming in. You can also step back, do your elbow, exactly like locked wing, right? He covers up or he defended this. You can follow through just like in locked wing. Just scoop both of his arm up and lock him. But instead of turning this way to break, you just release the hand right here, turn into him, follow it with the elbow, knee, and possibly takedown. Okay, or you can lock him up right here, turn into him, shoot a heel palm like in tripping arrow, get your leg back and behind and take down. Or if you lock them here and you elbow, I mean, you can clinch them up, shoot multiple knees to the body and stuff like that, would work really well too. So that way you don't have to spin out and give your back to your opponent. All right, so there you go. My take on Flight to Freedom. Thank you. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Sabora. Greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. All right. So now we come down to our final two presenters of the day. Now, before we present our next, before we bring on our next presenter, I would just like to say real quick that a lot of you know that Frank Trejo was my instructor. And I certainly would give anything to have Frank Trejo back. Frank Trejo can't be back. But if Frank Trejo still was around, boy, would I be nervous if he was watching me right now. An excellent representation from an excellent representation of the IKCA, which is headed up by Mr. Chuck Sullivan, who is in attendance today, which we are honored by. My good friend, Mr. David Gigliotti.
Greetings, everybody. Wow. Yeah, the nerves are going.
No pressure, Dave.
I would like to, I'd like to extend a welcome to all the grandmasters in the audience, and especially Mr. Sullivan, my instructor, and short salute to you, sir, and a salute to all the grandmasters. Wow, what a treat it is today. So, where do I begin? There's just been so much good information about this technique. Now, in our system, we call this captured wing. Basically, it starts the same. There's a couple of differences, and I'll show those things, but technique-wise, it's almost the same, okay? So one of the things that we do in this technique, okay, again, it comes from that hammerlock, is that when that happens, we're shooting this straight up the line, okay, from point of origin. And I forget which presenter had mentioned that, but you're going straight up the line, right in a nice reverse bow, bang, right up that pipe, right? Now, from there, we're going right into the groin, okay? Now, the reason I want to talk a little bit about the differences is if that person is blocking, if that person's savvy enough, and as this thing's being applied, you're coming in and he's savvy enough to block it, even as it's coming up straight line, we use the rearrangement concept, go right down to the groin, okay? His hand should drop. I don't know about anybody else, but if I get hit in the groin, my hands drop right there, and then bang, right up inside under the face, okay, right up under the chin, okay? So from there, our technique starts off. As it comes, same thing, right? We grab, counter grab, pop, one, okay? That reverse cat that Sabora talked about, okay? Now we're gonna use a heel kick right up under that, into that floater rib area. Same thing, boom. Twist, unwind and twist, come down and do a nice arm break here, okay? Nice arm break. We can kick to the ribs or we can kick to the head, okay? And then check that arm and come down. So, as you can see, a lot of similarities, but yet there's a few differences. Now, one of the things that we do practice at my studio is, and I've used this lock on people escorting them out when I was bouncing, is holding that shoulder, okay? Coming up with the hammerlock and then holding that shoulder by compressing it. By compressing that shoulder in here, it makes it very hard to move. Again, this is where the rearrangement concept works so beautifully. As that thing is getting put on, and let me just point something out. Never start a technique when the lock has been fully applied. Start to train or have your students train so that it is being done as it's being applied, okay? That's a really big thing. Spontaneity is huge. We'll get back to that after. Okay, so as that happens, I can't move, of course, but I can definitely sink backwards just a little bit, pop right into the groin, and again, that'll loosen them up. Even if I don't come up, that's going to release this arm, which is going to bring me out, and then I can continue on with the technique. But again, it all boils down to spontaneity. The techniques, a lot of times what I find is even as we get more practiced in our craft, we start what if. But if you remember that any grab, choke hold, or any type of a hold there needs to be spontaneity. Okay, so when this thing is being applied, when your arm is being applied, that's when you counter grab, rotate, and come up with that elbow nice and high. And again, I like to come up from point of origin, so that way it's a little less noticeable or conspicuous. All right, so one of the things that we practice, and especially in the IKCA, is spontaneity drills. And I'll have my students go through these drills so that as the lock is being applied, as that hand is being brought back, you're moving. You're already on the go. You don't have time once it's been applied, okay? Because a shoulder joint, okay, is a hanging joint. It's only held together by cartilage, muscle, and tendons, okay? So once this thing gets put into a position where it's locked, it's very hard to move forwards or backwards, okay? So as this thing starts here, it's very easy at that point to bring it to the small of the back and come straight up with that shot. So again, the techniques are very similar, and I love everything. I mean, my God, I didn't know what I was even going to say at this point because, quite frankly, you guys covered everything. And it was just one of those things that I really wanted to point out was the spontaneity, okay? So please, when you're practicing your techniques, try and do them right when you get grabbed. I mean, right when you get grabbed. It doesn't matter if it's crossing talon or we have one, twin talons. You want to make sure that that response is automatic right at the point of being grabbed. Because once that grab and that lock is applied, it's very hard. I don't care if the guy is 4'2" or 7'4". It's very, very hard at that point to break it and then continue on. And remember one thing, it's the pieces, and this I preach to my students all the time, it's the pieces of the technique that work, not necessarily the entirety of the technique, okay? So meaning, I get grabbed here and I pop, bang, and he lets me go, I might be out of there. I may not want to dance with this guy. Anyway, by the clock on the wall, that's it for me, okay? Again, a full salute to my instructor, Mr. Sullivan, and a salute to all the grandmasters in the audience, and Mr. Velez and Miss Doreen, and if I've missed anybody, my apologies. What a day. Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. Be well, everybody.
All right, let's be honest. I don't think I wouldn't have set him up if I didn't know he wasn't going to knock it out of the park like he just did. Second time on, second time knocking it out of the park. Thank you, Mr. Gigliotti. I like that angle on the elbow, and I never thought about pulling the leg back after the kick. That's why we do this. That was spectacular. All right, so now we go to the final presenter of the day. The final, what can we say? Well, he's the top of Kenpo International. Kenpo International is a group that we work closely with. If you've tuned in before, you've seen Andy Seetherton, you've seen John Ward, you've seen Doreen Durianzo twice, you've seen Anthony Caguandro, you've seen Cita Van. You know, we've had a lot of members of Kenpo International join us, so it would only make sense for us to have the top guy, Mr. Gilbert Velez.
Thank you very much. Okay, Flight to Freedom. I had a chance to work a lot with David German. David German is someone who kept all the grappling in the system. There's a lot of grappling, the original system. And I was a wrestler in college at the University of Arizona, so I had some stuff on, not jiu-jitsu, grappling, generally. And I don't think I've been attacked too many times around there, and somebody all of a sudden does this to me, The real attack is this. It's a hammerlock. So I'm the opponent. I've got your hand, You know, I got this hand and I do this to you. You understand? It's a hammerlock, but the guy's in front. He has your wrist, he has your arm. He comes up, over, around, and all of a sudden you're in a hammerlock. All right? That's the real attack. So boom, boom, he's here, and then what? And then it's the game of you know, different holes and all that stuff. All right? So that's the real attack. He's got you in a hammerlock because he came up, over, and around. I've seen Mr. Parker do that a lot. And also you got here, and your first reaction is to do that. So I'm going to come back, hit, lock or not, it doesn't matter. Now from here, okay, I'm straight back here or back here, wherever I can get. I go to a zone of sanctuary this way. I don't step in front of him again. And as I do that, I counter grab him. Okay? I counter grab him. And as I go to the zone of sanctuary here, I keep his hand on my hip and I use my hip to pull him. My body mass. You see? And he goes a little bit down behind me. And as I turn into a twist, this hand will assist me and get his arm into a twisted position this way. All right? Different angle here, here, and this is a reverse cat because this is a purple belt technique. And all the lessons are off short 2 and long 2. And a reverse cat is off short 2. Reverse side cats, 90-degree cats, reverse cats. That's a lesson in there. So hit, reverse cat. I lock his hand into my hip and I pull him just a little bit. So now I destroyed his width, his height, and his depth. He can't come at me. And then I immediately twist, and this turns here. This twists the elbow in such a way where I can just pop it this way here, and then immediately comes the front kick at a 45 angle to his knee, and that'll blow out his knee. Now, boom, boom, kick, front kick to the knee, and I've got him here. No sooner do I kick, then I go right down. Okay, and I just snap that elbow. I set it up that way. That's grappling. You know, it's just not just punching and kicking hard. With this technique of working their body. Boom, he got me in a hammerlock, and I came back this way. Immediately I reverse, came here. I'm on a reverse cat. Do the back kick to his ribs. All right? I come around. This controls the elbow. This twists the elbow. This comes here. No sooner do I do that, I come down, and then come right here. Boom. I just snap that elbow. You notice no change in height. I'm trying to. Anyway. Pow. Up, over, down. Stay here. Hit. And then, without changing height or bending over, right down this way. Here's his elbow, and here he is here. Now you're going to notice my angles. I saw a lot of you step in front, especially on the end. Zone of sanctuary. You can hit all in that circle. So when I first hit him, I go to this zone, come back, blow out this knee, and retreat to that zone, away from his range of motion into these 4 zones of sanctuary. You see that? Okay, so don't step in front of him again. You're right in one of his zones of attack. So when I do that, how I break, I'm going to spin, and I'm going to hit him with the back knuckle to the kidney. Now here is where we use contouring. Here's my back knuckle. I'm going to hit him in the kidney. But I fit my weapon to the target. And I'm going to hit him right on the back, you know? And it's going to contour to the curve in his back, right where that kidney is. All right, pow, pow, break, pow. Come this way, wham, hit him right in here. Now as I do the first knee, I bring up this hand. I hit him with that knee right in the stomach, keeping your body perfectly straight. Pow, and then what? Do the second one, boom, and then what? Blast this way, just blow out the knee. Okay? Actually, short two are techniques when you're against the wall. That's why you're moving forward all the time. Where I'm moving forward, moving sideways, coming in, back, boom, boom. Or he's against the wall. And if he's against the wall, boom, and this hand stays here, I walk up to my hand. So I punch him against the walls. Here, I send him to the wall, hit him again, chop him. He tries to hit me, chuck it, pow, switch, come back this way, hit this way, palm him with this, come back, hammer fist, palm with this downward block, pow, pow, come up here, throat, hit him with this, forearm, boom, this way. So there's short two in an enclosed space. Well, this hammer fist, same thing. Pow, he's against the wall. I'll come out here, and I've got a chance to work. You know, pow, bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Okay, any questions?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Velez. Greatly appreciated. And what do we say? Worth the wait. Look at that detail. Visual aids. Oh, it's awesome, awesome stuff. Thank you. Thank you so very much. We are honored and so appreciative to have you. And if you could leave your mic unmuted, and if I could have all the other instructors unmute their mic, we're going to go to our final segment of the day, and that segment is what we call Pass the Mic. That's where every instructor gets 30 seconds real quick to wrap it up. So we're going to go right in order. First, we're going to throw it over to Mr. Mark Lawler.
Great day today, everybody. And by the way, I neglected to say hello to Mr. Reen and Mr. Sullivan. Real honor to be with you today. Hopefully get to meet you sometime in the future. And this was a great blend and mix of different takes on the technique. Great fun as always. Look forward to the next one. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lawler. It is now my turn. And here's what I'll say is that all of us here that are presenting, we're all students. You know, we're all students. We're all students of the martial arts. We're all white belts. Okay, so we all come to attention when the high ranks come into the room, and we're all giving kudos to the high ranks in the room. I want to give kudos to everybody else who's here today, because without you, we couldn't do it, and we really appreciate it. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You got people like Marisol, who I've never met, that I look forward to seeing every month. Chris Savas, who's not here, will be checking in later. He had to go have dinner with his mother-in-law. Can't do karate when the mother-in-law comes calling. So thank all of you. I really, really, really appreciate it. And now we're going to throw it over to my man, Mr. Michael Miller.
Hello, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you all for showing up and watching this. And we appreciate everybody every time we do this. I want to thank David Gigliotti. He is a Brotherhood instructor. I want to thank you for another wonderful lesson there, David. You did great, buddy. And I want to thank Mr. Velez for also being one of our guests. And I want to thank Miss Doreen, obviously. She and I are working on a project together. So I've been in contact with her quite a bit. And of course, Mr. Sullivan, great to see you again, my friend. And if you guys don't know, Mr. Sullivan has an 89th birthday coming up soon. And I believe he's doing a dinner with Chuck live. I don't know if it's on that day or not, Mr. Sullivan. I don't know, but look for that. And I'm going to try my best to be a part of that. And we will go from there. But anyway, thank you all. Rock on.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Throwing it out to California. Angelo, I need you to turn your camera on.
There we go.
There we go. Ready?
Can you hear me?
Angelo.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? First off, thank you, Mr. Gilbert Velez. It was an awesome presentation, and welcome to the Brotherhood presentation. David Gigliotti knocked it out of the park, like Max says. And Mr. Chuck Sullivan, happy birthday. That's amazing. I want to be like you someday. Anyway, we look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you guys participate in this tournament, too. I have the honor of being one of the judges for the virtual tournament, and I would love to see a lot of you guys participate. It's a lot of fun. Shoot a video, send it in. You got nothing to lose. It's no pressure, no audience, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys for that. Everything's cool in California. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. And thank all my brothers out there. Awesome job, AJ.
Hi, guys. Awesome stuff today, guys. Learned a lot. Going to take that with me. I got a lot of ideas from Fight to Freedom now. So
yes,
thank you.
Excellent. Good work, everybody. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you very much to the Collados. Throwing it over to Brian Saul.
So I've known most of these, Brotherhood guys for 30 some years, Dan and Mark and Steve, Sabora. And over the last decade, that circle has expanded. I get to meet guys like, the Collado brothers, Mike Miller, David Gigliotti, and my circle's growing. And then we got the Brotherhood. And it's just growing even further and further. And I'm honored to be part of this. And I'm honored to have, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Velez, Mr. Rienzo. This is such an honor. Thank you so much. Great job to everyone out there. If you're not part of us, just come and join us. It's like $50 a year. It's less than $5 a month, and you get so much out of this. So hope to see everyone at the next one.
Thank you, Brian. We're going to throw it over to our own rock star, Mr. Montessor Noir.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to be part of the Brotherhood. And Napoleon Hill started the Great Mind Alliance, and one of the greatest assignments that he was given to. And I think the Brotherhood received the Great Kenpo Alliance. So it's amazing to gather so many minds and so much talent and present it to everybody for everybody to share. It's a great honor to have our guests today. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. God bless. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much, Monty. Throwing it over to Dan Donfro.
All right. Once again, always an honor to present. Nice to have Mrs. C and Mr. Velez, Mr. Sullivan present watching, and thanks to my Ookies and partners. We were lucky to have Miss Laura come in today because she sat in on Mr. Kangaika's class of extensions. Thanks for having us in on that today. And it was great stuff. Mr. Gigliotti loves to see the different take on the same attack. Job well done, and I had a great time. Good job, bros.
Thank you, Mr. Donfro. Up to the King of Canada.
Hey, Mrs. Doreen, sorry I didn't mention you earlier. You're on my mind, but always great to see you. Miss you. I love when we had been together. Hope to see you soon. Mr. Miller, Mr. Lawler, we got to get together. I really want to jam with you guys soon when this whole COVID thing's gone. For everybody else, like Mr. Saul was saying, we've known each other for like 30 some odd years back in the WKKA demo days, etc. You guys remember your times at the Delta, hopefully more times to come. The Brotherhood's a great thing. There's no BS. Nobody's telling anybody how to do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And I'm just honored to be a part of it. God bless America and God save the Queen.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Lorenzo, unmute your mic.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be there and to be part of the family. Thank you so much to share the endorsement to David and Mr. Velez. And thank you so much to be there, Miss Doreen, and the other grandmaster that are here, okay? I hope that everyone is in good health and their family are too, okay? Which is the most important thing now with the COVID. Keep safe, please, and we need to continue to see in the next Kenpo party of the Brotherhood, okay? So God bless for everybody, and we continue a non-stop, okay? See you the next time.
Thank you, Lorenzo. We're going to throw it over to the home run hitter and fisherman extraordinaire, Mr. David Gigliotti.
Wow. What can I say? It's been an honor to be here as a presenter today. I feel like it's the first time that I did a form in front of my instructor with all of the grandmasters that we have today and my instructor being here. So I'm just glad it's over. I wish it could go on, but I'm glad it's over. Thank you so much, Grandmaster Velez and Grandmaster Doreen, and especially Grandmaster Chuck for coming and participating and viewing. Please, everybody, have a great holiday season. Please be well and do what you need to do to keep you and your family safe. That's the most important thing, so we can come back and do this again. Salute.
Thank you, David. Throwing it over to Mr. Gilbert. Velez.
Well, thank you very much. It's my first time presenting. I was invited before, but I have a sore shoulder here I'm having trouble with. And thank you very much, everybody, especially across the world there from Spain, Lorenzo, Guatemala, Marisol, and my good friend Monacer and Angelo, and all of you. Thank you for inviting us. We do have a virtual tournament. It was supposed to be in Ireland, but it was going to be massive too. But anyway, it'll be virtual. And then next year we have Las Vegas 2021. And then we have Portugal, and then probably Mexico, maybe Cancun or someplace like that. So thanks a lot for inviting me. It was a pleasure to work with you. Mr. Sullivan, nice to see you. Nice to see you again, Mr. Sullivan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Velez. And finally, Sabora.
Hello again, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today. Excellent job to all the instructors. And, of course, thank you to Mr. Velez, Ms. Doreen for tuning in, and Mr. Sullivan, which I have not had a chance to meet yet. Hopefully that will change soon. And, I really appreciate everybody tuning in from all over the globe, joining us. So it's a good, positive thing to do for today. So, again, thank you. And check us out at brotherhoodkenpo.com. Join us, $50 a year, and you have access to the training tip videos and, similar to what we do here on the Roundtable, but we discuss things a little bit more in details as well. And it's not always Kenpo. We cross into other things too. So it's a good benefit for all of our members, so think about it, check us out, and thanks again. We'll see you next month, probably the 5th of December would be our next one. And but we'll post that on our site so that when it's 100% sure. But we're planning on the first weekend of every month. Anyway, thank you again. Take care, guys. Stay healthy, and see you soon. Salud.
Have a lovely day, everybody. Last one real quick shout out to Tom Troutman. And Tom Troutman, you're the man. I love our conversations, buddy. All right, cool. We'll see you guys next month.
Thank you. Mr. Dorosos, how are you?